two rescued in Mpumalanga floods and a setback for the AFCON opening ceremony. Good morning, I'm Karabo Munyuki with the news at 11 on Safm. The two people who were trapped in the middle of the Nkomazi River near Malalani in Mpumalanga have been rescued by the Air Force. Their car was swept away while crossing a low-lying bridge. A traffic officer's car with its occupant remains unaccounted for. Isaac Masemola has more.
The two had been trapped in the river since 4 this morning. A huge crowd applauded when the two were lifted by an Air Force rescue team. They were visibly traumatized and stressed and have been taken to the local Tonga hospital. The occupants of a traffic officer's car remain unaccounted for. The public, especially motorists, have been urged to avoid low-lying bridges. More rains have been forecast. Isaac Masemola, SABC News, Nkomazi region.
Another awaiting trial prisoner from St Albans prison outside Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape has died in hospital this morning. This brings the number of inmates that died during the gang-related fight that broke out at the facility yesterday to 3. 65 others sustained injuries during this incident. The Correctional Services Department in the Eastern Cape has vowed to press charges against awaiting trial prisoners implicated in the fatal fight. Eastern Cape Commissioner Nkosinati Breakfast says they'll leave no stone unturned.
Losing lives and is not a good thing. We won't wish to have people died in our own custody. Also, this incident that took place in our facility is something that is not a desired thing, and we also, but as the correctional services, will try by all means to ensure that incidents of this nature are not taking place.
Organisers of the opening ceremony of the Orange Africa Cup of Nations have suffered a setback. One of the headline artists, Malian vocalist Oma Sangare, has been forced to withdraw from performing at the event. That's after she slipped and fell last night and broke her leg. She'd been on her way to an interview at the time. Spokesperson Sipho Sithole says Sangare had worked hard on making the ceremony a success, and it's unfortunate that she won't be able to participate.
It's a sad story for our tournament and for the opening ceremony because, as we said, we're presenting to you the Beat at Africa's Feet, the ultimate entertainment program for the Africa Cup of Nations. But the most important thing is that her health and safety must come first.
Musical director Sibongile Khumalo, who composed and arranged the musical score for the opening ceremony, will stand in for Sangare in this afternoon's performance. In other news, UNAIDS has urged South Africa to lead efforts to set up anti-HIV/AIDS drug manufacturing companies on the continent. The call was made by UNAIDS Executive Director Michael Sidibe, who yesterday held private talks with President Jacob Zuma at his Pretoria official residence. Sidibe has praised the president for leading efforts to turn the tide against the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Since 2009, the Health Ministry has been able to dramatically expand the country's AIDS treatment program. According to UNAIDS, estimates the country could see a massive reduction in infections by the end of the year 2020. President Zuma has pledged to lobby his cabinet to support private sector investment in the production of antiretroviral drugs.
The objective of actually producing our own medicine in the continent, that's one of the areas we are very much looking at and working very hard to ensure that we are able to do so that we can then create cheaper medicines, so that more poor people will have access to medicine. So it is going to be announced, I think, in the course of time.
And finally, further afield, there have been international appeals for the Algerian authorities to do everything possible to ensure the safety of hostages still being held by militants at a gas plant in the Sahara Desert. The Japanese and United States governments are among those who have urged Algeria to make the hostages' security their priority. It's still not clear how many people are being held or how many have died. The BBC's Emily Buchan has more.
The hostage crisis is entering its 4th day, with little the international community can do to resolve it. The Foreign Office says a small, rapid deployment force, including psychologists and members of the Red Cross, has been sent to a town in the desert, Hassi Messaoud, a long way north of the gas plant. With the death now confirmed of one American citizen, the US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has urged the utmost care to be taken in the protection of all the remaining hostages. The Algerian Communications Minister, Mohand Belaid Ousseid, has defended his government's handling of the crisis.